Prerequisite: before you start watching this video, there is something I forgot. This will be the first part you will see. So do pip install SJ billing client. So once you do this, second thing is to go to your builder.spec file and add it as a requirement. Also add Android as a requirement. You need to add Android as a requirement. If you are using the latest Python for Android, because I don't know, they removed it or something. I think I'm having network issues. That is why this thing is still stopping here. So next thing is to add this guy. Enable your internet permission. I think it's already enabled by default. And on Play Store will not accept your application if you're not targeting API 35. Please start targeting API 35. You should have, if you have a Play Store account, if you have your app on Play Store, you should have gotten a notification that if you're not targeting API 35, your app won't work. Your app will stop receiving updates from Play Store. So next thing is to declare this guy. Declare this guy here. Also add this. You will get an error when you declare this guy and compile for the first time. So for the second time, you don't need to compile for the second time anyway. Just add both of them. Add both of them together. That will help you. Oh wow, I thought I've already installed. Okay, yeah, yeah. So you add this guy here. This will mitigate the error. I think I should copy this and put on the documentation on the README page. If you want, you can declare this. This is none of your business anyway. So just do 1 and 2. You are good to go. And then if you're on PyCharm and you want the auto completion, just pip install this guy. I don't think I'm missing out on any other. What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can implement Google Play client, Google Play billing, or whatever. This has been a pressing issue in the Kivy community and in the Python ecosystem community, both Beware and the rest, where people are requesting for a third-party application that solves that issue. I was able to build a library that is able to solve this issue. I'm going to show you how you can be able to do this, but it will work with PyWaveView if your application is solely based on PyWaveView. It will also work with PyGame. Yeah, as long as you can compile with Python for Android, this will work no matter the platform you are using. It doesn't restrict you to only Kivy, so it works anywhere. PyGame, PyWaveView, Kivy, it works. All right. So in this video, I'm going to show you how this actually works, how you can be able to integrate everything and make purchases, allow users to make purchases with Google Play billing. First of all, you have to have Google Play Store account. That's the first thing. You have to have this bad boy right here. Once you are able to get this, second thing is that I will be using hot reload. You don't have to use hot reload anyway, but I'm going to be using hot reload to be able to make things faster instead of compiling and waiting and testing. And no, I don't have that time. So I built a hot reload based on Kaki, but there's no configuration, just a simple command and then you're good to go. There's no configuration at all. Check my previous video on how Kaki works. You should see the pop-up at the top of the screen somewhere, I don't know, but you should see it. Click on it, watch it, and see how it works. So here I'll start by calling my Kaki here. Kaki run screen copy. If you have not built the project, first of all, you have to do Kaki run build, right? You can add screen copy because after building it will automatically start hot reloading. But if you have finished building for the first time, you want to run it again for the second time, you don't have to build again, just do your screen copy. And that's it. So it will kind of like deploy the application to my phone and start it immediately. It's not compiling, it's actually deploying. Yeah, so yeah, it has already deployed, and here we are. So our application here looks like buy me a cup of coffee page. Yeah, I stole this icon right here from buy me a cup of. I kind of like downloaded it from their page. I didn't care. So as you can see, we have different prices here that a user can be able to support our project with. They can buy this one time, or they can subscribe monthly if they want. If you click on this checkbox, I'm going to explain that in a sec. So let's head over to our presentation.kv. And this presentation.kv, what is actually going on here? I'm not going to explain the UI. You should be able to understand that. If you don't understand that, please watch my previous video on matcha, blah, 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 matcha video. You should see the pop up somewhere. Yeah. The structure of this project is explained on matcha. So if you don't understand the structure of this project, I'm not going to explain that. Go to matcha. So, but you understand how Kivy screen module works. If you don't understand how it works, I will recommend you go and read Kivy's documentation and all of that to understand how Kivy screen works. This tutorial is about teaching you in app purchase. Yeah. So these buttons are responsible for holding the product ID. So on the left is for in-app purchases when we want to make one-time purchase. On the right is for subscription. These are the product IDs for subscription. I'll show you how to set them up on Play Store. But for now, let me just show you the code. After showing the code, I will take you to Play Store and then you'll see how that works. All right, so the code is quite simple. When we click on any of these icons, it will set the price. The price is what will be displayed on the text here. The product ID will now be responsible. We'll place it on the button so that in the future, when we click that button, we'll be able to extract it and utilize it the best way we can. So on the button down here, as you can see, the product ID, we are getting the product ID precisely from the tip, which we are setting to the product ID. This for the first time. The second time, it is directly setting it to this. Here we are formatting the price into the text. As simple as that. What else? Then support, nothing more. I'll go to my presentation, the PY, and here we have to, first of all, uncomment this. Then I will explain. So right now, this thing is going to turn white. Don't worry if it turns white, it is hot reload. Yeah, it has already turned white. So once it saves, it automatically pushes to my phone and all of that. See the error, we'll explain that later. So this billing client is responsible for connecting our mobile device to our application to Google Play Store, right? So what is happening here, it is checking for the user account, connecting the user account to Google Play Store, so that when the user makes purchase, Google Play Store knows what user account is used in making that purchase. We'll still come back to how that works and all of that. So the next thing here, once we have initiated our billing client, we have to, this is a must, on purchase updates. You have to listen for our purchase updates. So this is a listener here. It is asynchronous. So you don't have to worry whether it is blocking or not. It is not blocking, it is asynchronous. So once this is called, what will happen next? So what I'm going to do is to go and on comment on purchase updated. So it was waiting to see this guy. So now we've instantiated or call on purchase update whenever we make a purchase. If a purchase is made, this guy will be called. So let's focus on support. This support is responsible for when we click on our button. Let me uncomment that to be able to explain what is going on here. So when we click on support button, what happens is that we are going to call billing client.start connection. So this start connection, what it does is to connect us to Google Play Store. So this billing client is this thing here, right? It connects us to Google Play Store. I forgot. You have to import it from tools. Please If you're using PyCharm or whatever, don't import it from JClass. JClass also has this billing client, but import it from Tools. If you import it from JClass, you are importing the raw Java implementation. You don't want that, except you want to do it yourself. You don't like the way I implemented it. You want to do your own implementation, then import from raw Java class. All right. So here we are setting up the start connection. We're listening for when billing setup is finished. That is when the connection is established. If the connection is disconnected, all of that, we can print something or we can try to reconnect. But we don't have to try to reconnect because automatically this guy is already doing it for us. There is another argument, but I already set it to true by default. So if we check here, enable auto service reconnection. Yeah, so I already set it to true. So if you set this to true, you don't need to kind of like, but you still need to register this. If you don't register this, this is not going to work. You can set it to lambda none if you want. So you don't need to try to do the reconnection manually yourself. This does it for you. So let me remove that. So once we have set up our billing, the next thing we have to do is to declare our onBilling setup finished function. So if I click this support here, our application should be able to crash, yeah, because onBilling setup finish is not declared. So once our connection is established, what we're going to do next is we're going to query for purchase async. Let me save that so that it will show up. We're going to query for purchase async. Query for purchase async checks for if a product has been bought on Play Store, because products are not only bought on your application. Play Store can decide to advertise your product on Google Play Store. I don't know if you have ever opened a your Play Store account, scrolling through apps to know which app to download. Then you see a purchase. Maybe you wanted to make a purchase on Spotify and then you didn't complete it, you abandoned it. Google Play Store might remind you to kind of like make that purchase. So someone can make a purchase outside of your app. So you need to make sure that you are able to consume. I will still talk about the consuming part and all of that, but that's not the goal of this. So you query for the purchases that are made outside of your app. You query for both in-app and you query for subs. So product types in-app means one-time product. If it is not a recurring product, if it is not a subscription, you should use in-app. If it is a subscription, you should use something like this, subs, right? Product types or subs. So for now, let me just stick with in-app. It's for example purpose. Next thing here is product ID. Here we're going to extract, remember the product ID which we slapped onto the button. We're going to extract the product ID from the button, right? When we extract the product ID from the button, what happens is that we're going to pass it. We're going to, first of all, check this connection was established successfully. Check the billing results. Check it if the response code is okay. If it is not okay, please try the reconnection again. Or maybe the user kind of like is not available, is not online or something like that. Then here we query for product detail async. This guy, after you have successfully checked there is no pending purchases and all of that, you can go ahead and do this. Query for your product details. Query for product details gets the actual product from Google Play Store. So you get the product ID, you pass it, you tell Google Play Store, hey, this is the product I want this user to buy because this user clicked on this button, right? So we pass the product ID as a list. If you are buying multiple products, you can kind of like put them in this list. It must be a list. You don't just pass it as a single. It's a list. It's from Google Play Store and all of that. Then here we have product type. We'll pass the product type. What kind of product are we buying, right? Remember, if you click that checkbox, the ID will differentiate. One-time ID, one-time product that is in-app is different from subscriptions. For subscriptions, you use this. So we'll have to check if self the ID subscribe active. Subscribe the active is this checkbox. If it is active, then we'll set it to, let me click that. It's already subs. If we click that, if we don't click that, it's in-app. Next, we have to listen for product detail response. This product detail response will have to tell us whether this product is existing. If it is existing on your Google Play console, if it is not existing, Google would return you a billing response error telling you it is unavailable and all of that, which means your ID that you set on your app is not valid. So you should recheck and set a valid ID. I can't click this because if I click this, it's going to throw another error. So on product detail response, once we have been able to retrieve our product, this will help us to retrieve all our products. Um, we'll check, we'll get this as a list, the product detail list. So it accepts two arguments, billing result and product result, product detail result. Billing result is responsible for checking the response code. Please check this. I didn't know why this is supposed to be inside. I will cut that and put it here. It's supposed to be inside of here. I didn't know why I declared it outside. So, but even though you declare it outside, it will return none or empty list if this check fails. So once you check the response and it is okay, you get the product list. Also, you get the unfetched products. These unfetched products, it can be products that are invalid, or I don't know, they might be available, but something is stopping them from being unavailable. So I don't know the reason behind that. You can read more on Google Play, Google Billing documentation to know more. Maybe in the future, if I figure it out, I will let you guys know. But that is not our problem. We can also loop through the product list, because this will return for us a list. We'll look through the list and then get the product details. These product details will print for us the actual, like the content of the product, what the product holds. So I can, let me say, comment this and then do this, run. Okay, yeah, so it's printed for us something here. So it's printed. Actually, I've already deployed my app on Play Store. If you didn't deploy your app on Play Store, this will not work. This will not work. So the product ID in app one, because remember I didn't click this guy. If I click this guy, it's going to return the subscription part. Formatted price $0.99. Price amount, micros, blah, blah. This is not necessary for us. So it returns for us the product ID and the formatted price. So this formatted price, we can use it to display if we don't want to make purchases already, like you're building a game. You want to show what prices your game assets or your coins or whatever thing you are selling on your game, what prices they are actually. You want to show them on the screen. You can use this to display the prices, right? And then what happens next is that after we have checked for fetched and unfetched product, this also returns the details of the unfetched product anyways. After we have checked for those, we can go ahead and launch our billing flow. This is going to crash. So first of all, we need to uncomment. What do we need to? Okay. I don't think it will crash yet. It won't crash. It won't crash because we have already uncommented our on purchases updated. Yeah, we've already uncommented this bad boy right here. So what we're going to do, once we click on this, we should be able to get an error. Yeah, so it works perfectly at this moment. The error you might be getting from my own will be very different, because I assume by now you have not uploaded your app to Play Store. So you must upload it to a testing track, or it is on production. So it's time to go to Google Play Store and show the second method. Why did you crash? Okay, I think my hot reload is the reason why this application crashed. The hot reload, Google Billing Client doesn't like having multiple billing clients instances. If you have multiple billing client instances, it's going to actually crash. It's going to run out of memory and all of that and crash. So you don't want that. Let me reopen that. Um, so while testing with Kaki CLI, you should know that. You should keep that in mind. It doesn't destroy when it reloads. So that's the problem with Kaki CLI anyway. It's not that perfect anyway. So what I need to do right now is to, okay, I didn't test for this guy. Let's click on this and see the product ID. Yeah, buy now in Kivy. Yeah, so as you can see, it looks different depending on the product ID. Now it's time for Google Play Store. We'll go here and this, I'm already inside of my now in Kivy app. This app is this app here. Go to monetize with play. Once you have deployed to, let me see, let me click on, okay, on your testing track, you must deploy to any of 1, 2, 3, or it must be in production. So 4, deploy to any of this section and then join me here on monetize with play. So once you go to monetize with play, what happens is that we'll start with products. If you are selling your app, like you are selling your app directly on Play Store, this video is not for you. So, but if you're doing purchases and subscriptions, this video is for you. So here we can be able to create our product. I think I should minimize this guy for now. So as you can see, the in-app one, the product IDs, in-app 10, in-app 100, in-app 5, blah, blah, blah. So you can create a new product here if you want. So you declare the name, the description. You must declare the description, then the product ID. The product ID, you should declare the product ID here. The description should say what the product is all about. It is the must. Don't just come and say any useless thing, because Google Play Store will reject your app. You must tell the user specifically what your app is doing, what this purchase is all about. Then here you can set the pricing. The pricing will be, it will use your local pricing. So I'm in Nigeria, so it's going to use NGN. So I think 1,600 is actually $1. So if we look for United States, can we? Okay, we can't search for country. Let's. Yeah, United States is $0.99. All right. So you can set your pricing over here. Once you're done, you apply. I'm not going to set mine. I'll cancel this. Discard, please. And then discard. So once you have set your pricing, you can click on save. An activate button will appear at the top here. You can click on that activate button and move on. So let's go to subscription. In this subscription, we are going to see that the ID, it's kind of like looks a bit different. So the ID should not be the same as your in-app. Sure, whatever ID you have already specified on your in-app purchase, in-app product, if you try to declare them here, it's going to be null and void. Google Play Store is going to tell you to choose another one, choose another name. So once you click on create subscription, it will request for your product ID and name. Then further down the line, you follow the rest of the instructions to fill those up. Yeah, so this is where you do the monetization process. Now, once you are done, you upload your app, you wait for some hours for, I will suggest you use the internal testing track so that once you upload it, Google will not waste your time. Your app will become available on Play Store. You can use whatever link they provided for you and make it available, right? Immediately. So once you're done, go to your home. Go to your home, your Google Home, or you can click on this Google Play Console button here. Once you click on it, it will land you on your home screen. Go to your setting. Go to license testing. Then whatever email you want to use, because right now I am start loading this application. I don't want to go to Google Play Store to be downloading my app all the time, like pushing to Play Store, then going to Play Store, downloading my app, and then testing. It is a stress. So you can create a license testing for testing with your debug application, like doing ADB install or Android builders Android debug deploy, like without having to deploy to Play Store. So, but first of all, you have to deploy to Play Store once, and make sure you don't update your version. If you update your version, you have to push to Play Store again. So I'll click on this guy here and save changes. I've already added my email. I added 2 emails that will be doing the testing. So once I click save, and then I pull up my device. Okay, yeah, it has saved. And I pull up my stuff here. If I click on this button again, just watch out. Okay, I have to I have to close my app because it's using the old connection. I have to close my app and reopen it again. So don't worry, it will automatically reload, as you can see here. I click this. You already own this, so I've already previously bought this. I've not bought 5, I guess, because I've not consumed it. Yeah, as you can see, it is working. This is $5, $5.49. So I can tap this. So I don't want to tap this to avoid, yeah, because I have not consumed. But let me just tap. Let me just tap. Boom. So as you can see, nothing happens here because on consume is not like we have not consumed the application, we have not consumed the item, right? We need to consume the item or acknowledge it. I'll still talk about the difference between consuming and acknowledgement. So for subscription, let me click this and tap this again. So as you can see, it says $0.99 per 5 minutes. 1 month is 5 minutes. You can check out the Google. I think I will link the Google Play description so that you can check it out. So once you do a subscription, your subscription will cancel after 5 minutes so that you can resubscribe again, right? If you do for, let's say, 2 months or 3 months or 1 year or whatever, how many months you want to do your subscription, or how many, like how long you want your user to do the recurring, I think you have to set that on your Google Play console stuff. So you can test for decline. You don't have to link your actual credit card. Subscribe. It should decline. Error declined by blah, 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 whatever. So here we have to consume. Now, before consuming or acknowledging, let me explain something. So when I clicked this button here, initially, okay, let me remove the, no thanks. It says you already own this item. But notice that I have previously bought 5, right? But when I click this, it doesn't say, oh, it says you already own this item. Oh, did it consume it or acknowledge it? I don't know. Okay, but anyways, okay, this one still works. Now, consuming means if you consume a product, it means the user can buy that product again, right? But if you acknowledge that product, if you acknowledge the product, it means the user cannot buy that product again. It means they own it for life, or they own it for a period of certain amount of time. So for example, when you want to use in-app purchase once, say for example CapCut has where you can buy items, right? You make one-time purchase, then you own that. Let's say you buy a blur effect on CapCut, you own it forever. You don't have to pay for it again in the future. So with that kind of item where you want user to own an item forever, you use acknowledge, right? Once you acknowledge it, the user will own it forever. But when you want user to keep buying, like if you're selling a game coin, you know that the user will be able to consume the game coin, they use it to buy stuffs inside of your game, right? You want to consume, not acknowledge, because if you acknowledge, it means the user owns that forever. Your user cannot be able to buy it again. So keep that in mind, please. If you are not listening to other explanations I've been making, Listen to this one. Keep it in your mind. Yeah. So it's time for on consume. So I want to be able to consume if because I want to make this recurring. I want you to be able to buy me a cup of coffee every time. Every time. I don't want you to buy me a cup of coffee once. I want you to keep buying me a cup of coffee. So I use this on consume to consume my items. So now I think I've commented save. Okay, it has saved. If I buy this, let me buy this guy again. Let me buy $10. One tap to buy. Oh, okay. I set it to decline. Let me set it to, yeah, okay. One type buy. Good. Thank you for buying me a cup of coffee. So, why is this still showing me this error? Home screen object has no attribute. I think it has consumed. Then it showed me the purchase token. Okay, that was the previous error though. It showed me the purchase token. What's the purchase token? Okay, this is the purchase token. So if you have a server, right? If you have a server, a third-party server for your game, you should be storing this purchase token on your server to know when a user buys an icon because this consumed, you cannot purchase, you cannot request for purchase history to know what items your user has bought in the past. So you have to store them somewhere in your server so that when your user goes to another device, they still have their coins, their everything they bought in the past intact. So I will suggest you read the Google documentation for this. Though I put a documentation out there on my GitHub, on the library GitHub page, I'll still showcase how it works and all of that. So now we have purchased and acknowledged. Consumed. For acknowledgement, we want. So let's say I want to buy this thing again. As you can see, it still works. It didn't say I have owned it. I can buy again. I can even buy more than one. But this buying more than one depends on the country anyway. I can, yeah. So it's up to 10 for now. So not all the whole countries support this. So it depends on the country. If the country does not support this kind of like one-time buying a product, you only see one. Like it won't even show you quantity at all. So, but you have to set that the quantity on your Google Play console, anyways. So here I'm going to uncomment this guy for on acknowledgement. So if remember where we are, let me take the flow from beginning again so that maybe if you're confused from somewhere you'll get back in track to where we are. So for example, we created our billing client and then we linked our billing client to an on purchase updated. This guy right here, on purchase updated. This on purchase updated is responsible for noting when a purchase is made. If a purchase is made and it is successful, right? Also check for not null. This not null means that the purchase itself is not null. So it's kind of like Java thingy that I said, let me just do a magic behind the scene and make it false or true, uh, so that you don't have to deal with that. It's core deep into Java. You won't even know what is making your app crash. It will make your app crash totally. So I was able to mitigate that by just putting this null here. So your on purchase update will accept three arguments: billing result, null, and purchases. So you have to check for billing response code and not null. So make sure that this thing is not null. Once it is not null, you look through all your whole purchases. Because if the user made a purchase of more than one, let's say you put out more than one item for purchase, they made a purchase of more than one item, you have to go through all the whole purchases the user made. And then if it is subscription, make sure that you acknowledge. You cannot consume a subscription. It's not possible. If you try to do that, you'll get an error. But if it is not a subscription, you should consume. So there is consume async, there is acknowledge purchase. So if you consume, the user can repurchase the product again. But if you want the user to own it for life, use acknowledge. Use billing client acknowledge. So if you're using acknowledge purchase, passing the purchase token, you get the purchase token from the purchase.get purchase token. Then you listen for unacknowledged purchase response. So these will not tell you when the user has kind of like made the purchase, right? If they have made the purchase, you go to unacknowledged purchase response, and then here you show your message. Thank you for doing this. If it is successful, if it is not successful, you throw an error and tell them why it is not successful. If you consumed, this is what you get. So the why is this showing an error? Oh, docstring parameter, whatever. I'll say that later. So this guy returns a billing result. This guy returns a billing result and purchase token. So keep that in mind. Then your support button. So it is advised that this self-billing client, you do it on your main.py. Yeah, Google advises that. Not that there is a Python application on Google, but Google. How many minutes is this video already? That's it. So not that Google advises that, but Google recommends that you do it on your own create method. But in your Python, I will advise that you go to your main.py. Oh, not here, sorry, because I'm using Kaki. So Kaki pushed it to my app.py. So you go to your main.py and add it. I will suggest you create it on your init method. Let it be the first thing you do, or you even create it somewhere here, or you should add it to your init method, right? If you add it here, you establish your connection. This connection, start connection, you establish this start connection immediately, so that your support button can now be something like when you make a purchase, you make sure that this unbilling finished has done. You can throw a variable or a signal from your app to your screen to wherever, like declare that, okay, the billing is ready to go. Here you can now do your query for purchases, and yeah, you must query this to know what products are available. With this, you can be able to now initiate your purchase flow. In your on product response, you can initiate your purchase flow here. You can get the product details if you want, and then boom. So depending on how you want to implement this is up to you. So you mustn't go exactly the way I'm doing right now. It's just an example. So depending on how you want to do it. So basically that's it. There is one more error that you might be experiencing, which gave me a tough time. So if you are side loading, right, and then you have declared your license testers, everything, and then you are still getting error within your app. So the problem is not you, the problem is actually you. It's not you but you. So it means that the default, you didn't enable the license testing for default Google Play Store account here. So my default Google Play Store account is actually Codens, this first guy here. So initially I didn't enable, like I didn't add it to the email in the license testing. So you have to go here. So I have to add it somewhere here. Yeah, Codens. Initially I didn't add it. That was why I was having issues having blah blah blah. So you need to add it and make sure that add every, to be on the safer side, add every email that you have, add it to to your license tester so that you can test them locally. Then for, let's say I want to be able to test for real-time purchase, I can disable this. If I disable this, I have to go and download the app from Play Store. If I download the app from Play Store, it will actually request for my credit card. So I don't want to do that yet. So, but basically, that is it. I hope I did a nice job explaining this. I know it was going to be tough explaining this, but I said I'm going to take up my time to do this. And here you have it. Uh, Next thing I'm going to show you is the readme. In case you don't understand everything I said here, you can actually go here. It has quick start examples. You can check it out and all of that. Also, please, um, if you don't mind, you can click on this link for me, just for clicking sake. Uh, Start the project if you like. Also, if you don't like my implementation, let me show you something. This is where I implemented most of what you're seeing. It has full documentation and all of that. You can check it out. And so if you don't like what you're seeing here, you can easily uh, import this billing the py and everything here. If you want to utilize them, I mapped it out entirely. So everything you are seeing, everything, not most, almost everything you are that is on Google Play billing SDK, I mapped them out in Python so you can easily integrate them in your application. You don't need auto class. Auto class is quite slow and it takes time to look for your stuff, but this guy here, it doesn't slow down your app. As you can see, when I click it, working immediately. Like, it doesn't take my time. So that's it. That's basically it. Yeah. So this for interfaces, for callback, and all of that. Anything else am I missing? I don't know if I'm missing out on anything. So guys, that is basically it. That is your in-app purchase. Please do me a favor. You can join in testing this application now in Kivy. You can make real purchases. If you love this video, buy me a cup of coffee on the side of my app. And yeah, see you on my next video. If anything is confusing and you want to see a kind of like implementation, maybe with a game or like any idea you have, this is a sample implementation though. But if you want to experience, you want to see something much better than this, that shows from scratch to finish how this thing works, buying a coin, just make sure that you like this video. The more likes on this video and the more subscription I get would determine whether I will do the video or not. I did this video out of play from so many people on my comments and all of that. So please like, subscribe, buy me a cup of coffee if you can. This helps me to keep this YouTube thing alive. I'm telling you, it's hard time. It's very hard doing YouTube videos. Very, very hard. So buy me a cup of coffee and liking my video, subscribing. Most of you who watch my video are not even subscribed. So if you're watching my video, please subscribe and like. I beg you. Thank you so much, and see you next time.